All right, for this project, you're going to need a scratch art tool. If you don't have a scratch art tool, you can always get a paper clip and then just tape it on to your pencil, and then just make sure that one point is on the outer edge, and then you can use it like a pencil. And you'll also need a pencil for this project, a reference image, a little bit of tape, and then scratch art paper or scratch board. So in this case, I'm just going to tape along each side of my reference image, and my reference image is the same size as my scratch board, so I just tape it onto the scratch board itself. Next, you want to outline your image by drawing over the image. It will create a slight outline underneath. And when I outline it, I try and outline, about 5 to 6 different values. Basically, I just want to know where I'm shading and where to leave the highlights and that sort of thing. And you'll notice underneath, when I peel this up, you can see a slight outline. Now it's pretty light, so once I've created an outline for my entire drawing, I'll go over with my scratch art tool or a scratch art pen and just lightly carve out the outline of my picture. Then once I've gotten that done, I'm ready to start making the marks, and I usually start with the darkest areas of my picture first. If you start with the darker areas, it's a little bit easier to just add more layers to create lighter sections. Another little tip is when you're creating these outlines, go the direction or surface of that object. So if it's a rounded object, you want to create lines in a curve motion. And you'll notice right here I'm just lightening up some of those areas. If there's a solid line, now you'll see that my scratch art tool wasn't working super great, so I had to go in a couple different directions with my tool. But if you're ever doing a solid line, sometimes you can leave little gaps in that line, and your eyes will visually put those together later on. So here I'm lightening up the left side of this face. I want to keep that left side of the nose really dark. That's why I left the lines spread apart more. Right? The more lines you add, the lighter it's going to be. The fewer lines you add, the darker it will be. And then as I'm shading around with my pencil or with my scratch art tool, I make sure to leave the dark areas a little wider than needed. And then later on, when I do the final touch-ups, I'll strengthen those. So you don't have to see the whole thing, right? You can get a good idea of what I'm doing in the little demo. Here's what it ended up looking like. I did have to, once you're done with your overall drawing, you'll want to go through and strengthen the highlights so that it looks like the light is actually hitting the face. If there's any silhouettes in the background, you'll want to strengthen those as well. But yeah, good luck.